Welcome to the Sana Project, where we take you well beyond our everyday skin clinic practices and give you insights to our philosophy. This collaborative podcast is hosted by our team and guest experts in various fields. So let us take you to Skinfinity and beyond, where we will be covering topics on skin, internal health, mind, soul, energy, life, and integrated practices. Our hope is to spark thoughts that resonate and serve you to make conscious choices to live your best life. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I'm Carla and I'm here with our resident skin nerd, Georgia.
Hello everyone.
We're having another nice little skin chat today about the acne that goes on in the world.
Yep.
It's definitely one of our more common sort of conditions that we get presented with in clinics. So yeah, we thought we would have a bit of a chat about acne, what it is, all that sort of stuff. So do you want to get into it?
Sure thing.
All right, let's just hit the ground running. So what is acne? I think a lot of people probably know what it looks like.
Yeah.
But like what actually is it? What's going on within our skin?
Yeah. So a lot of the times, like social media and just in general conversation, we hear people going, oh my God, I have a pimple. Oh my God, I'm breaking out. And like all these different things. Americans call them zits.
Yeah.
We call them pimples. I hate the word zit. I don't know what it is about
mate,
it.
yeah,
it's just like pimple seems nice. Zit seems
Zit sounds
mean.
nasty. Yeah.
Which I know some of them can be. But anyway, all of those things are referring to a condition called acne. Now, acne is a chronic condition, meaning once you get it, you kind of always have it, but you can manage it. It's a condition of our oil gland or the sebaceous gland, which is found attached to our hair follicle. So essentially anywhere that hair can grow, acne can form. So that's why sometimes some people get like cysts in their head. When we're shaving, when we get ingrowns, we get that pimple-like reaction with the ingrown as well. That's because that oil gland that causes the acne is attached to the hairs.
Yeah. So, and there are also, like acne presents in different ways. So we know that there are different grades of acne. Did you want to go a little bit more in depth about all that?
Yeah. So there are 4 grades or classifications of acne. So we've got our level 1 acne, which is typically where we just see your open and closed comedones, which are your blackheads and your whiteheads. So typically they present on our nose, chin, forehead, and like just on the cheeks here, more so than anywhere else on the face. And grade 1 really doesn't pass the blackheads and whiteheads. And when I'm saying whiteheads, I mean like the tiny little white pimples, not the like yellow pus-filled ones.
Yeah.
Just like the smaller little ones that you can still pop and get stuff out of, which please don't pop your pimples at home. Worst thing you can do for yourself. If you've got pimples, leave them alone. I know it's hard, but leave them alone. Leave it to the professionals. Then we jump up to our grade 2, which has, again, the blackheads, the whiteheads, but this is where we start to see the introduction of our pustules, which are those yellow, kind of red around the edge, pus-filled pimples. These ones are actually like infected. So popping these ones is very, very bad because you're going to spread infection.
Just make it worse.
Make it worse for yourself, and you run the risk of like actually creating like long-term problems for your skin depending on what bacteria is actually sitting in that pimple and what area of your face that pimple's sitting on, because some areas are a lot more dangerous to pop pimples than other areas. Like around our nose, because it's so connected to the sinuses and all that, you can actually cause a lot of other problems unrelated to the skin by popping that pimple.
Yeah.
So when we say don't pop your pimples, don't pop your pimples. And I'm going to say that so much in this episode.
Trust us, there's a good reason behind it.
But there's a reason why I'm saying it. I'm not saying it just to be mean and say don't pop your pimples.
Yeah.
I've got a point behind it. From that, we jump up to our grade 3 acne. This is where we start to see like people actually looking at a skin and going, oh my God, that's acne. Whereas grade 1 and grade 2, most people kind of just look at someone and go, oh, you've just got a few pimples.
A bit more subtle, yeah.
Bit more subtle. Our grade 3 sees the introduction of our papules, which are what most people refer to as blind pimples. So they're that just kind of pinky raised bump where if you squeeze hard enough, something may come out, but a lot of the times it just hurts.
Yeah.
And that's just because this pimple hasn't really come to a head as such, like our blackheads, whiteheads, and our pustules. Then we have our final grade, which is our grade 4 acne, which is the most severe form of acne that you can get. And this is where you see the introduction of your cysts, your nodules. So they're the really big breakouts that sit under your skin that you actually need a dermatologist to cut out. Otherwise, it's just going to keep filling up and filling up. So it doesn't matter how much you squeeze out of it, it's not going to go away until it's physically taken away. With those grades as well, typically the grade 3 and 4 are where you see the scarring once that lesion is gone. Your level 1 to 2, you may potentially see scarring, and that'll be mainly because of the picking and popping at the skin. But mostly with those ones, they'll just be kind of what we call our post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which is just that kind of like purpley blue red spot that stays behind after your pimple's gone. Sometimes it's there for like a couple of weeks, sometimes it's there for months, sometimes it just never wants to leave.
Yeah.
And that pigment that's there is just in response to the trauma that is that pimple.
Yeah, and that often shows a lot of regret too, because that's something that won't typically go for like quite some time. So I think, you might have all of like the stuff come out of it, but the post-inflammatory could be there for quite some time, and that's when the regret kicks in for sure.
So like I said, don't pop your pimples because you're gonna create issues, and that is one of them. Yeah. So you've got your scarring, you've got the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Of course, those two things can happen without popping them. Yeah. I know that, and that's just because of how deep the pimple is. There's also all different kinds of acne scarring as well. The most typical ones that we see are usually like the pitting, like an ice pick or boxcar scars where people... And I don't mean to say, I hate some of the terms that people use, but what people would refer to as like crater face. That's in the top of my head because I watched Grease the other night, and that's a reference from that. I'm always going to reference films. I don't know why. It's just in my head. But so there's 4 grades of acne. Typically, when we're treating skin, when we get a level 3 or a level 4, they're a more severe case. So that's when there is the potential to actually refer it on to a dermatologist. However, we've got our naturopath Emily on board, so it is a little bit easier for us to kind of get around treating that without, going too hard, too fast because of the sensitivity that will be in that skin, because it will be a quite painful and just all-round inflamed and irritated skin.
Yeah. And one thing to remember as well is that acne is so common. Like a lot of people get it. Did you want to maybe explain a little bit about what causes it and like why certain people get it?
Yeah. I'm just going to like add on to what you just said, that like it's such a common thing. Most people get it. Up to 80% of the population will suffer from acne at least at one time in their life, whether it's child, teenage, adult, but we'll get more into like who can really get it a little bit later on, but I just wanted to chuck that in there now that you mentioned that. But so what causes acne? That's the question everyone wants to know. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that can cause acne, and it's different for every single person that has it. Some people will have the same cause, some people have different, and it's multifactorial. So multiple factors can influence your acne. It's never really ever going to just be one thing that's causing it. Like I mentioned, our sebaceous gland or the oil gland is attached to our hair. So anywhere there's hair, you can get a pimple. So keep that in mind because it just makes a lot more sense with everything. When we look at what causes acne, It can be a number of things. So it could be hormone driven. So there's too much testosterone, which is our the like male hormone. So in men, they already have testosterone, so high levels of that can cause their acne. But in women, we also do have testosterone, and high levels of that can also cause it. Typically, we see that with conditions like PCOS and just elevated hormone levels. We can also see it come through when, you know, there's an excess oil production, which can be influenced by the hormones, or just our bodies going absolutely wild and overproducing oil. But in saying that, you can also have acne with a dry skin. So it's not the be all and end all to have oily skin to have acne.
Yep.
Genetics, environmental factors, your skincare that you're doing could actually be causing your acne. Diet, lifestyle.
Stress is another big one.
Stress, that is a huge one. Like everything. Pretty much anything you can think of could be causing your acne. But the main ones are usually overproduction of oil, your hormones, your genetics, your lifestyle, your diet, and your stress. They're the main things. And product usage. So skincare and makeup.
Yeah.
And fake tan.
Yeah, people tend to forget about those ones. So
they sure
do.
do.
Good to pop that in there. So then who can get it? Because obviously there are a lot of different causes behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Who is potentially susceptible to it?
Anyone is.
Yeah.
Any person that has oil glands can get acne. And let me tell you, everyone has oil glands. Everyone has them, whether they work or not is the question. But yeah, so anyone can get them. And like I said before, it's typically anywhere between like 80 to 90% of the population will suffer from acne at least one point in their life. Most commonly we see it, when adolescents hit puberty.
Yeah.
And that's because of that rush of hormones, and it's your body's trying to balance it all out. Plus you've got the stress of school, friendships. Now we've got social media and all that involved as well. But we can also see kids that are, prepubescent getting it. And that is more so to do with genetics and lifestyle and kind of what they're eating, what they're doing. Typically let's say a 10-year-old, for example, they're not going to be doing a full-blown skincare routine. So it's not necessarily what they're putting on them. It'll be what they've, got in them or putting in their body. And we also see cases like adult acne for women who fall pregnant. Some women can go their whole life not having a single pimple, get pregnant, and they're covered. And that is, again, because of the amount of hormones that just rage through your body while you're pregnant. It just throws a spanner in the works, and it just goes absolutely crazy. But even, menopausal women, just older women, whether they're pregnant or not, or menopausal or not, it's just that change in hormones as we progress in age. And then you'll see it's more common in, older teens, young adults, when they're, venturing into their skincare and they're using incorrect products, or they're using makeup products that are comedogenic, and they're just causing that acne for themselves. But overall, anyone can get it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so pretty much anyone can get it. What do we do about it? How can we treat it? How can we help manage it?
Yeah. So the most important thing is go see a professional. Do not go to the internet. Yes, there's some helpful advice on there, but see a professional first, then go to the internet. Then bring your internet research to your professional and then do it. Yeah. We at Sana, we like to approach it quite holistically. So we look at, treating it externally with treatments, so facials, and that could be just our custom facials, our lymphatic enzyme mask, which is a really great mask for detoxing the body, helping your lymphatic system push all the nasty stuff out, so your body actually is flushing out whatever's causing those breakouts, as well as we love to any person that comes through the door with acne. I mean, anyone who comes through our door, really. We send them to see our naturopath, Emily, which I know will have another part to this one where Emily talks about the internal side of acne, which is going to be great. So make sure you listen to both. But yeah, we make sure they get everything on top of everything internally, so that they make sure, if it's a hormone related issue, they're on top of that. If it's a gut related issue, whether that's, something's not functioning in their gut, or they're, eating bad things that's causing their gut to be quite aggressive and upset, we just make sure we're on top of that.
Yeah, it's really important to sort of address the root cause. So that is something that Emily is really great at sometimes, helping uncover a little bit.
Yeah. And like I said before, every single person with acne, it's going to be a different story. It's going to be a different treatment plan by that thought process. So when we have someone come in with acne, whoever sees them first, gives a brief summary to everyone. At least this is how we do it here. We work collaboratively as a team for the external and internal to make sure that we're doing the best for that person, to make sure we understand what that root cause is. So we're addressing that rather than just popping a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the main thing, if anyone's out there with acne and they're like, what do I do? Yes, the internet is great and it's somewhat free, but you're going to do yourself a big disservice by just not seeing someone who's actually trained and spent hours and hours and years, learning about the skin and how to actually treat acne. Because while, I'm explaining it here and it could sound, quite simple, it is a lot more complex when you look at it and when you're trying to break it down to try and treat it. It's also not an overnight fix.
Yeah.
I like to look at things with the skin where, say, you've had the condition for 6 months, all right? You've got to give me at least 3 months to see an improvement.
Yep.
You could be a lucky duck and see that by month 1, starting to clear up. Some people, it might actually take 6 months.
Yeah.
But as a rule of thumb, you're going to take pretty much however long you've had it, cut that in half. That's how long it's really going to take to see results. And that's because you're going to have to work with your body. You're going to have to make sure your body's actually registering that something's going on. And like I mentioned in our, skin breakdown, it takes 28 to 40 days, depending on who you are as a person, for your skin to go through its full life cycle. Yeah. So if you start using a product, it's going to take 28 to 40 days to actually see that product do its job. So, yeah. Yeah,
you've just got to give it time, let it sort of run its course, do its thing before you kind of give up too quick. Yeah. So this could be a bit of a fun one as well. There are a lot of acne myths out there, so let's bust a few of them and maybe talk about some home care remedy no-goes as well, because I know that it's very tempting to just kind of quickly Google something or try something at home when something pops up. So, yeah, let's talk a bit about that.
The first myth I want to bust, and I kind of mentioned it before, is that to have acne, you have to have oily skin. Wrong. You're so wrong. It's not funny. You don't have to have oily skin to have acne.
Yeah.
You can have dry acne, which just means that there's something else causing it and it's not an overflow of oil.
Yeah.
But you can have oily skin and have acne. You can also have dry skin and have acne.
Yeah.
So don't always assume that your acne is and all that's going on is because you have a crap ton of oil in your skin, because you may not, and you're going to cause more problems by trying to strip it.
Yeah.
The second one is that everyone with acne should run away from oil. Not the case. Oh. There are some oils that are so helpful for acne. It's not even funny. Jojoba, beautiful oil.
Yeah.
Does wonders. If you get like a well-made one.
Yeah.
Don't just pick up any off the shelf, because some of them will have other added ingredients in it. Yeah. But as reference, avocado oil is another one that is amazing for acne as well, because it's a nice kind of calming and soothing one. Mm-hmm. But just because you've got acne and you may have oily skin, doesn't mean you should run away from oils, because sometimes your skin needs that good, healthy oil to understand that that's what it should actually be making, not what it currently is.
Yeah. Cool. And so do you have any, I guess to kind of like round up, any tips, tricks, or any extra little things people can do to sort of help manage acne?
Yeah. So number one thing is find something that you can do day to day, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, to just calm yourself. Mm-hmm. Calm yourself as much as you can, reduce as much of your stress, because if you don't focus on the stress side of things, you're never going to actually be able to solve the problem, because that stress response in your body is just going to create more and more problems. And I think that's like a bit of a advice for anyone, not even not just for people with acne, just someone with skin that they're struggling with. Find something to help de-stress, something that's going to calm you down, relax you, because stress just does shit stuff to our skin, mainly with acne, and it's not fun. And then I think another one would be, I know it's going to be super hard. I've been through it myself, but don't focus on it.
Yeah.
Don't make you having acne your entire life story, because it's not. It's only there. It's temporary. It's just a moment in time. It's going to go away. It's going to get better. Focus on other things, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, good things about yourself. Don't even mention the acne. Yeah. Because the less you pay attention to it, the smaller that problem will seem. Yeah. And the mentally you will do so much better. And then when you go through treatment and when you start doing stuff for yourself, you'll see more of a result, because you're not dwelling on it and you're not focusing on every single one that comes up. You're just going, hey, it's calmer than it was before, because you're not looking at it 24/7.
Yep. Yeah, well, I think that's really important to try and stay as positive as you can. I mean, I know it is quite a hard condition that a lot of people have, a lot of people struggle with, but just sort of focus on the positive things with it all. But I hope you guys have learnt something from today's episode, or, even learnt a few things not to do potentially. But I think the main takeaway is, if you are struggling with acne, just come in and see one of us, or any skin therapist out there, just to really sort of get that advice on how to manage it. And find ways that's going to work with your skin, because all skins are different. So there are many different treatment paths out there.
Yep. And do not put toothpaste on your pimples.
Don't do it.
Do not do it.
Don't pop them either.
Yeah, don't pop them. But anyway, thank you guys.
Thanks. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends and get involved in our socials to help shape the topics on this podcast. We'd love to meet you. You can simply book from our webpage or reach out. We are here to help.